You leave a conversation shaking. You don't even know why. They didn't yell, they didn't insult you, and yet you feel hollow, drained, like something inside you was stolen. It feels like love. It feels like concern, but it tastes like poison. If you've ever dealt with someone like this, a manipulator, a narcissist, a toxic coworker, partner, or family member, this video is for you. Today, you're going to learn how to stop being their victim, how to turn the tables, how to make them powerless without losing yourself. We all know them. The coworker who smiles while sabotaging your project. The partner who gaslights you until you doubt your own memory. The family member who uses guilt like a weapon. They are masters of chaos, and the reason you lose to them is simple. You play by the rules of kindness. They play by the rules of war. You bring flowers to a knife fight. But what if you stopped being nice and started being strategic? What if you could silence a manipulator without saying a word? What if you could turn their own games against them? This isn't about becoming evil. It's about understanding power. 500 years ago, Niccolò Machiavelli wrote a book that scared the world. He didn't write about how things should be. He wrote about how things are. He taught that to survive, sometimes it's better to be feared than loved. He showed that controlling the story means controlling reality. Today we'll take Machiavelli's lessons and use them against modern toxic people. I'll give you 7 psychological weapons to stop letting toxic people steal your energy. 1. Stop explaining yourself. Toxic people are not like you. They don't care about fairness, kindness, or honesty in the way that you do. To them, interactions are not about mutual respect. They're about control. They want to take something from you. It could be your attention, your emotions, your time, or your self-confidence. Every word you speak, every explanation you give, every attempt to justify yourself becomes a tool they can use against you. When you explain yourself, you are handing them ammunition. They don't see your explanation as clarity. They see it as vulnerability. Think about it. When you try to tell them how much their words or actions hurt, hoping they will understand, they don't. Instead, they listen carefully for ways to twist your words, confuse you, or make you question yourself. When you try to be kind, hoping for kindness in return, they see it as weakness, a way to manipulate you further. They do not play by the rules you believe in. They play by the rules of power, strategy, and manipulation. Niccolò Machiavelli, the master of strategy, said, "See the world as it is, not as you wish it to be." This is exactly what you need to remember. Stop hoping that your explanations, your kindness, or your emotional honesty will make a toxic person change. It won't. You cannot heal them. You cannot make them fair, reasonable, or kind. The part of you that always wants to be liked, that craves approval from everyone, that worries about what others think. That part of you is a liability when dealing with toxic people. Instead, replace that desire for approval with a need for strategy. Your goal is not to be understood. Your goal is to protect yourself. Your goal is to stop being drained by people who feed on your energy. You don't owe a toxic person an explanation. You don't owe them your emotional energy. You don't owe them anything that can be used against you. Imagine being calm while they try to provoke you. Imagine not reacting when they make subtle attacks. By saying nothing, by not over-explaining, by keeping your energy and your focus, you take away their power. When they realize that they cannot manipulate your emotions through your explanations, they begin to lose control. Silence becomes your weapon. Strategy replaces your need for approval. Remember, every time you explain yourself to a toxic person, you give them power. Every time you stay silent, you take it back. Your energy is yours. Your focus is yours. Stop explaining. Start protecting. Start winning without fighting. To become a void, toxic people are like predators. They watch you closely. They study your reactions. They poke at your weaknesses to see what makes you flinch, get angry, or upset. They want to map your mind, your emotions, and your insecurities so they can control you. They are constantly testing you, looking for openings to exploit. Your job is simple, but not easy. Become unmappable. Become a void. What does that mean? It means you stop giving them the reactions they crave. Don't get angry. Don't argue. Don't over-explain yourself. Don't try to justify your feelings or your actions. Every reaction you give is fuel for them. They feed on friction. If you lean into their chaos, they lean harder. But if you refuse to react, you deny them their power. When they insult you, don't snap back. Don't argue or explain why they are wrong. Respond with flat neutrality. A simple pause, a calm look, or a quiet, "Interesting," is enough. When they guilt trip you, don't defend yourself. Don't beg for understanding. Say something short like, "I understand you feel that way," and then stop talking. Let them fill the silence. Don't give them more words to twist or fuel to manipulate. By doing this, you are creating a vacuum, a space where their attacks no longer land. The void is empty, and toxic people cannot operate in emptiness. Friction is their lifeblood. Remove it, and they escalate, become louder, or try harder. But this is good. This escalation is your signal that you are winning. When they get louder, it is because their usual control tactics are failing. They are losing power, and you are gaining it. Becoming a void also protects your mind and energy. You are no longer reacting to every jab, every comment, every subtle manipulation. You are not giving them control over your emotions or your day. You're unshakable. They may try to provoke you, but if you remain neutral, calm, and unmapped, they cannot predict your next move. You become impossible to manipulate because there's nothing for them to grab onto. This doesn't mean being cold or unkind to everyone. It means protecting yourself from people who try to steal your energy. Your calmness, your neutrality, and your silence are your armor. They are strategic tools, not weaknesses. When toxic people realize that their usual tricks no longer work, they lose their grip. You are no longer their target. You are untouchable. Remember, toxic people feed on friction. Remove the friction. Become a void. Let them escalate. Watch them struggle in your calmness. This is not passive. It is aggressive control. The less they can manipulate you, the more you win. And when you master this, you start controlling not just their behavior, but your own peace, your own life. 3. Use silence and ambiguity. Toxic people love information. They're always looking for something they can use against you. Your plans, your struggles, your feelings, even small personal details. They turn all of it into leverage. The more they know about you, the more control they can exert. They don't need to be mean every second. Often just knowing your weaknesses is enough to make you feel anxious, guilty, or stressed. Every detail you share is a tool for them. This is why the first rule is, stop telling toxic people everything. Stop giving them your personal life on a silver platter. Stop explaining your plans, your intentions, or your worries. The moment they know too much about you, they can twist it, manipulate it, or use it against you. Protect your information like it's a treasure, because for toxic people, it is. Instead of giving full answers, give vague ones. Keep it short, keep it neutral. Say things like, "I'm good, busy, you know how it is." Simple, polite, but empty of any real detail. You're not rude, you're not lying, you are protecting your energy. Toxic people hate ambiguity because it takes away their ability to predict, control, or manipulate. If they press for more details, don't panic. Don't justify yourself. Instead, deflect the conversation back to them. Ask about their day, their opinions, or their projects. Let them talk. Toxic people love hearing themselves talk. They feel important, powerful, and in control. By letting them speak while you remain vague, you shift the power. They reveal themselves, and you stay safe. In effect, you are no longer an open book. You become a fog. You are difficult to read. Your actions, your thoughts, your feelings, they remain yours. They cannot manipulate you if they cannot predict your next move. They cannot create chaos for you if they don't have your emotional roadmap. Ambiguity is your armor. It creates boundaries without confrontation. Silence is your shield. It preserves your energy, your peace, and your sanity. Over time, this combination of silence and ambiguity changes the dynamic entirely. The toxic person grows frustrated. They escalate. They try harder to push your buttons. But by now, you are already untouchable. Their power over you is weakening. You no longer play their game. You control your own board. Remember, every piece of information you give is currency for them. Protect your currency. Speak less. Share less. Let them wander in your fog, guessing, probing, but never succeeding. This is not being secretive out of fear. It's being strategic out of strength. Silence and ambiguity are your tools to create a safe, controlled space for yourself. 4. Judo. Their force. Toxic people thrive on resistance. They push you emotionally, not because they want truth, but because they want a reaction. They expect you to fight back, defend yourself, explain your side, or prove them wrong. That reaction is the reward. The moment you resist, they feel powerful. So the goal is simple. Don't give them what they expect. In martial arts like judo, you don't fight strength with strength. You don't block force head on. You redirect it. You let the opponent's own momentum work against them. The same rule applies here. Only this time, the battlefield is psychological. When a toxic person says something like, "You're acting crazy right now," your natural instinct is to defend yourself. You want to say, "I'm not crazy, you're the one doing this," or "Stop gaslighting me." But the moment you argue, the trap is set. They now control the frame. They can point to your emotions and say, "See, this proves my point." Instead, use judo. Calmly say, "I can see why you might think that." And then, stop talking. This response does something powerful. You agree with their perspective without accepting their judgment. You don't admit guilt. You don't apologize. You don't explain. You simply remove resistance. And when there is no resistance, their attack has nowhere to land. If they accuse you, criticize you, or attack your character, agree only with what is true from their point of view, not your truth, their perception. This completely disarms them. They were ready for a fight. You sat down instead. Their aggression has no opponent. It turns inward. This makes toxic people uncomfortable and ineffective. They don't know how to escalate without resistance. They rely on emotional friction. When you don't push back, their words lose power. The conversation dies on your terms, not theirs. This is not weakness. This is control. You are choosing peace over ego. You are choosing strategy over pride. You're conserving your energy instead of wasting it on someone committed to misunderstanding you. Over time, this changes everything. Toxic people stop targeting those they can't provoke. They look for easier battles, easier victims. By using their force against them, you become slippery, untouchable, and boring to attack. Remember, resistance feeds toxicity. Agreement without guilt starves it. Let their aggression bounce back onto them. You don't need to win arguments. You need to win your freedom. 5. Absence is power. One of the most important lessons in dealing with toxic people is this: always being available makes you cheap. When you answer every call immediately, reply to every message right away, or drop everything to help them, you are sending a message. That message is, my time, my attention, my energy is yours. Take as much as you want. And toxic people love this. They see you as a constant supply, someone they can drain whenever they choose. Being their punching bag is not your duty. Your energy is not theirs to waste. The strategy is simple. Withdraw, but do it wisely. Start small. Don't answer calls immediately. Let the phone ring. Don't respond to texts right away. Take your time. Create space between yourself and their demands. When possible, go low contact. If you have a toxic family member, coworker, or ex-partner in your life, limit the time you spend with them. Be polite when necessary, but do not give them unlimited access. This withdrawal is not cruelty, it's strategy. Absence creates value. When you are always present, you are ordinary. When you are selectively present, you become rare, important, and uncatchable. Access to you is no longer a right. They have to earn it. Your time, attention, and energy suddenly become a privilege, not a free resource. And toxic people hate that. They're used to controlling you, having your reactions at their fingertips. When you remove yourself, you take the control away. Absence also protects your peace. Toxic people thrive on friction, chaos, and emotional energy. When you're always present, you're always exposed to it. By stepping back, you prevent them from stirring up unnecessary stress. You preserve your energy for what actually matters: your work, your goals, your growth, and your sanity. Sometimes, absence can also teach a lesson. A toxic person who is used to constant access will be disoriented when you pull back. They will demand explanations, push for responses, or complain that you're ignoring them. Your response should be calm, neutral, and vague. I've been busy. How are you? You don't need to justify your absence. The point is not to hurt them. It's to reclaim your time and energy. Remember, absence is power. The less available you are, the more valuable you become. The more they have to wait for your attention, the more respect you command, even if silently. You are no longer a victim or a doormat. You are setting boundaries. You are controlling access. You are making it clear that your life, your energy, and your time are yours, and not theirs to exploit. 6. Expose without fighting. Toxic people love the shadows. They operate in subtlety. They make jokes that sting, drop comments that confuse, and say things that make you question yourself. They thrive because most people react emotionally, argue back, or try to defend themselves. This is their playground. Every reaction is fuel. Every defense is an opportunity for them to twist the story, manipulate the situation, or make you look weak. Your weapon against them is simple but powerful: the spotlight. Shine light on their behavior without becoming them. When a toxic person makes a joke disguised as an insult, the usual instinct is to laugh, defend yourself, or snap back. But doing any of these gives them control. Instead, pause, stay calm. Look at them with curiosity and say something like, "Can you explain what you meant by that?" This does two things. First, it forces them to speak clearly, to put their intentions into words. Second, it exposes their behavior in front of others. Suddenly, the subtle cruelty, the manipulation, the masked hostility becomes visible to anyone observing. They can no longer hide behind charm, ambiguity, or humor. Their social mask slips, and their power diminishes. Notice what you are not doing. You are not insulting them back. You are not being aggressive. You are not stooping to their level. You are maintaining your ethics, your calm, and your composure. Your integrity becomes a mirror, reflecting only their behavior. By asking for clarity, you let their actions reveal themselves. This approach also changes the dynamic of the interaction. Toxic people want secrecy, subtlety, and leverage. When you shine a spotlight on them, you take away the secrecy. You deny them the advantage. The tension rises, not for you, but for them. They become uncomfortable, defensive, and unsure of how to proceed. And you remain unshaken, calm, and untouchable. Over time, using the spotlight consistently teaches toxic people that they cannot manipulate you quietly. They learn that subtle attacks will fail because you do not react as expected. You remove the drama while maintaining your dignity. You control the narrative without losing your integrity. Remember, the goal is not to humiliate, punish, or seek revenge. The goal is to reveal truth while keeping your composure. You are dismantling their manipulative tactics, one exposure at a time. And the best part, you do it without creating more conflict, without anger, and without losing your peace. You win by staying above, not by sinking below. 7. The Machiavellian exit. Sometimes protecting yourself is not enough. Sometimes all the strategies, boundaries, and psychological tools you use still leave you exposed to someone toxic. In these cases, defense alone cannot secure your peace. You need something more decisive. A full stop. A Machiavellian exit. The Machiavellian exit is clean, silent, and final. It is not dramatic. It does not require confrontation or long explanations. You do not write letters justifying your feelings, argue over who is right or wrong, or give them any opportunity to twist your words. You simply remove yourself from their world, block their numbers, delete them from social media, stop answering calls, stop replying to messages, walk away from situations where their influence can reach you. This is not cruelty, it is self-preservation. The power of this exit lies in its silence. Toxic people thrive on control, chaos, and reaction. They need to see your anger, hear your explanations, or watch you struggle with guilt. When you disappear without a word, you deny them closure. They cannot understand your move, manipulate it, or respond to it. This absence becomes a vacuum, and in that vacuum, their obsession begins. They will replay your departure over and over in their minds, trying to understand, to control, to regain power. You have left them with nothing but questions, and that is exactly the leverage you need to reclaim your life. The ultimate revenge is not revenge at all. Revenge keeps you tied to the past, still thinking about them, still reacting. The real power is thriving without them. Rebuild your life. Focus on your goals. Improve your health, fitness, and wealth. Surround yourself with people who are kind, supportive, and safe. Find love that nurtures, not controls. Every success you achieve, every step you take toward your better life, proves that they were not essential. They were never the center of your world. You were. The Machiavellian exit is about taking back your value, your time, and your energy. It is a final assertion of independence. You are no longer available to be drained, manipulated, or controlled. You are no longer defined by their drama or their cruelty. You are free. You have chosen yourself over the chaos they bring. And while they stew in confusion, obsession, or frustration, you move forward silently. You thrive, you build, you grow. And that is the most devastating outcome for any toxic person. They cannot stop your progress, cannot undo your boundaries, and cannot reclaim the energy you have taken back. You are no longer their victim. You are the architect of your own life, and the freedom you gain is far more powerful than any confrontation could ever be. You've been a hostage to your empathy for too long. Machiavelli wasn't cruel. He was a realist. By learning the dark, you protect the light. By becoming strategic, you protect your peace. You're no longer a leaf in the wind of others' emotions. You are the wind, the architect of your own reality. Once you see the game, you can't unsee it. And the best part, you don't have to play unless you choose to.